On the Fringe with Dan radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. It's like that, did I leave the curling iron on? Oh no, like the crazy thoughts must be going through this guy's head. Where did I put all the money? Are they going to find it? Does he end up telling the truth about Joe Biden and all the things they were doing? It's going to be very interesting to see what continues to play out. Again, oftentimes, there's a public-facing component to this, which is he has to give up his mineral rights. And then there's kind of a behind-the-scenes sort of approach as well, which is I need all the information about what happened with Joe Biden, period, end of story. And, of course, some of that might not go through channels that would normally happen, but the navigation of this whole deal-making process is going to be difficult for this guy because he basically doesn't matter. Again, we've got so much to cover today, a lot happening. Every day, in fact, it seems. But, yeah, some interesting, fun stuff. I brought this up. I was going to do a quick little skinny on this. We have this concept of fearing other people doing something, right? Or fearing ourselves doing something. This particular person, don't take the black pill, right? Hold the line. But one of the things is backwards from a lot of us. I'm trying to use this as an example for how we need to move forward, or we're not going to be able to. And it is not worrying about, like, the opposite, trying to use not and stuff like that. See, a lot of us, instead of being healthy, we talk about not being sick, or we talk about, I don't want to be sick, or how can I keep from being sick? How do I avoid sickness? And what you're doing is you're focusing on the thing that you're trying to avoid. Anybody riding a motorcycle or driving, even for that matter, you aim for where you want to go. You don't aim for the thing. You don't look at the thing that you're trying to miss, because if you look at it, you'll hit it. So by focusing on the thing we're trying to avoid, you're going to make it happen. You are going to run smack dab into it. The other way to look at this would be continue taking the red pill. The red pill is far better. The red pill is, a lot of people are going to take it. And I honestly don't know how easy it is to come back from waking up. I think a lot of people are worried about black pills. I think black pills are just basically normies that for a second were looking at the red pill people and going, that almost makes sense. And then they were like, oh, but this story came out. Now I don't believe it. I'm black pilled. Like, who cares about the black pill? Let's not focus on it. What you focus on is what you create. What you focus on is what you are going to run into. So focus on your health. Focus on your well-being. Focus on how the country's getting better. Focus on what this golden age might look like. Imagine some of the cool things. Imagine having more money in your pocket, rather than focusing, really, and a lot of us do it, focusing on all the, I can't wait to see the arrests and all that. Yeah, I mean, that's great. But really, we want to focus on where we're heading. And a lot of stuff's going to happen in that process. But again, it's just, I don't know, it's probably spent longer than I should have. Philadelphia Eagles, this is a report that was floating around. I think it was Reuters that's getting blamed for it, for the wrong story. But whatever the case was, Philadelphia Eagles reported the White House snub. And it was running around. There was a report put out late yesterday. Everybody's been running with it, that the Eagles decided, we're not going to the White House. White House invited us. We're not going. Now, what they were actually referring to was what happened back at the 2017, or the last, in the 2018 championship. Then they said no, which that was the thing you did back then. They haven't even been officially invited yet. And they said this isn't even, like, we haven't even, no, this is not our stance right now, is what they're saying. So it was a bad report. That's what it was. Lester Holt's out at NBC Nightly News after MSNBC axed Joy Reid. Oh, so cool. They're just getting rid of a lot of the trash. A lot of these companies right now are dying. These people are, one, super expensive, two, horribly unpopular at this point, especially because they've been spouting lies for years. And people finally are like, dude, you've been lying for years. What do you mean I haven't been lying? You're lying right now. Come on, get out of here. Bye-bye, Lester. We won't miss you at all. This is just funny to me. This guy is so angry about this dude. It's just beautiful.
Do you actually work for ICE?
No.
Explain the outfit.
It's $29.99 on Amazon. I would recommend buying a small if you're my size. This one's a little too loose for my liking. But yeah, if you want some entertainment, wear this and go to a Home Depot in a sanctuary city like where I live right now, Washington, D.C., and you'll see all the illegals. Not all of them, but you can maybe see a lot of them start to run away, and you feel like a group fitness instructor. It's really good.
And you actually think that's funny?
I think it's hilarious. Absolutely. What's not funny is them illegally...
There you have it, everybody. One of the worst people I've seen here at CPAC, and that's saying something. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Tom Cruise. Dude looks like Tom Cruise, doesn't he? Good for him, by the way.
One of the worst.
Right? Kind of, all right, I'm stretching it a little bit. Maybe in Tom Cruise's bad, risky business phase of his life. Who knows? What we got here? What's this one? Let's get back up to the frickin' story. Oh, this isn't, okay. Yes. Oh, this was pretty cool. So the Republicans actually managed to pass in the Senate the bill. It sounds like they're going to be accomplishing what we want. The Democrats spent all night trying to do their little shenanigans, trying to push through these different amendments and all the crap that we wouldn't definitely want. They kept pushing it. Normally, Republicans fail at this. They beat them at every single step. The Republicans passed their bill without the Democrat BS added to it. They managed to stop their little shenanigans, whatever they were. One of them was a right to IVF, deficit and debt, which came from, these are all Democrat people, public lands, that was a Colorado lady, deadly and devastating fires, of course, Adam Schiff in California, the cost of housing by Virginia, tax cuts by Klobuchar, Minnesota, the FAA, was also brought up by a leading Democrat of appropriations panel, so some Democrat for Washington. Yet Republicans continued to hold the line. They did all those marathon voting sessions called votoramas, apparently. They do this often when they're trying to push through crazy jacked up stuff. So some amendments are even drafted with a specific senator in mind, especially someone who might face a competitive bid for re-election in the next cycle. Democrats tried to trip up Republicans with votes on tax cuts. They even compelled Republicans to weigh in on their support, or lack thereof, for Ukraine. Quote, this amendment ensures continued support for the government of Ukraine to stand firm against Russian aggression. For 3 years, Ukraine has fought tooth and nail for its very survival heroically, said Senator Jack Reed, Democrat from Rhode Island. All right? Well, that got shot down too. In fact, Reed's plan got shot down by Senate Armed Service Committee Chairman Roger Wicker, Republican from Mississippi. He said, quote, there is no greater supporter of Ukraine in this Senate than I am, but this is not the right vehicle. Passage of this amendment, though members might wish to, will make it harder to pass this very valuable budget. So they're trying to throw some more money at Ukraine, and they're like, no, we're not doing that right now. We're going to vote all night long to set up a bill to increase spending by $340 billion, argued Paul on the floor on Thursday. Senate Republicans are coming forward today to pass a budget to allow them to raise federal spending. So yes, the talk of saving is powerful. Of course, Schumer tried to get out there and say stupid stuff, but nope, they actually managed to stop this. I'm impressed. That's all. Let's see if we don't do our jobs, everyone's taxes are going up, and so that is absolutely going to be catastrophic to the American people. Yeah, it's not going to be acceptable. Republican from South Carolina, Russell Fry. Isn't that also where Lindsey Graham's from? So yes, we hold a small majority in the House, but that might be able to pass this. Since we've got a bunch of people in the House that can't get their shit together, want to add a whole bunch of crazy shit, it might just be easier to get this passed through the House, and then they can argue about all the other crap. Because frankly, the House is a mess right now. The House is a mess. They probably couldn't pass anything on their own because there's way too much, way too many people, way too many cooks in the kitchen, and way too close a vote. One Republican goes and votes on the other side, it's done, or two, I think. We're very tough place right now, numbers-wise. A lot of it's because they've pulled some people out of there, but we didn't have that big a majority to begin with. I want to say it was, 5 people or so? Wasn't very many. 4? It was very small majority. So anyways, big deal. Donald Trump truthed this out. This is powerful numbers. I think it speaks hugely. I guess I can try to make it bigger, maybe? Nope. That's as big as it's gonna get. First thing Adam said to Eve, stand back. I don't know how big this thing's gonna get. There you go. Bid from Nippon Steel. They're going to be bringing in about $14.1 billion, which is awesome. They were going to buy our steel industry. Now they're going to come here and manufacture it so they can sell probably their steel to us. for less, and it will compete with our steel industry, but they'll be building it here, so they got to pay American wages and taxes and all that fun stuff. So it's good for the country, whatever the case, and it's good for competition, which will force our steel industry to get back into business. And maybe some of that is because they're overly paid, and Nippon maybe won't allow for unions and crap like that. I'll see how that plays out too. I'm curious what problems that presents. $20 billion coming from Hussein Sajwani. Yeah, you know, that guy, your next door neighbor. $500 billion over 4 years from Apple. It's a big deal. $500 billion over 4 years from Stargate. Also a big deal. That's $1 trillion over 4 years. Yes. And $600 billion from Saudi Arabia. So 1.6 plus trillion dollars being brought in over the next 4 years in building, in investment, in that's a big deal. Tax breaks, sure, they're going to get, but this brings in a lot of income, a lot of jobs, a lot of resources, a lot of things are going to happen, and this will get the economy moving. This is $1.6 trillion insertion of good funds that create jobs, that create taxes, that create like all that crap. Hopefully the taxes go away, at least income, right? But it will create a lot more of people living and spending and going out to restaurants and all that kind of crap. It will be pretty incredible. So we are moving in an interesting direction. This is the lady that was running with RFK Jr. Interesting chick, nonetheless. Into surfing. I like that. Very groovy. But she is talking about the chemtrails and how they need to go. Yeah, I agree. I'll have my little piece on it here in a second, but this is kind of a trip. Because I was seeing them just the other day, too. And I always, every once in a while, notice posts when people are like, oh, the chemtrails are done. I haven't seen chemtrails in forever. I'm like, that must be nice. Because there's a lot of places that do still see them. And I've also kind of wondered, I'm like, where's Trump going to weigh in on that? Because eventually this message is going to get to Trump. And he's going to notice and be like, yeah, what's up with these things that seem to be there and then they come down? I feel like he's talked about it, but we're going to finally probably look into it, because here's the thing. It looks like whoever's doing it is not directly under the president's control, at least yet. So it will be interesting to see what this leads to. This is another big piece of disclosure that I think will be fun. And I mean, frankly, there's so many damn theories around what they could be for. There's maybe some good ones, maybe some bad ones, maybe a mixture in between. Certainly, sometimes I think they're maybe just to block the view because something interesting might be happening. So again, a lot of weird stuff, especially out here in California. We do have overflights of top secret craft from time to time, and we do get our skies covered oddly at times too. But whatever, here's someone else noticing it.
I was taking the weekend off the internet. I've been surfing this morning and was watching the planes flying overhead, and then I couldn't take it anymore. But that is not a contrail. That looked like it started as a contrail maybe, and now it's turning into a cloud. See how thick that is? You can see this one, it's a little further behind, and this one's a little bit further behind as well. This one is the one that's been up there longest. This shit has to end. This is ridiculous. It's like an otherwise perfect day.
Yeah, they're annoying. They ruin the day. Those are totally the type that I see all the time. And they do. They form, and then you just watch them sink and come down and get bigger and bigger. And then I've seen them where they do enough of them, it literally creates a cloudy day when I don't know if it would have been. Now, I know there is all sorts of theories that there's stuff in them. And there could be, and there might be. I've heard theories that they have to do with trying to make the, keep us safe from nuclear missiles. I've definitely heard that they're trying to block views, and that, I mean, a lot of these things make sense to me. And I know there's evidence of all the above, frankly. So I don't want a bunch of info from people because there's a crap ton of theories. None of it's proven. None of it is proven. I don't care who said it. It's just not proven yet. I've seen pictures of the planes dumping it out. Like, it's obviously happening. There's weird stuff that's going on. So this is something that we need to get answers to, unquestionably. We had another mishap, it seems, on an American Airlines United flight. Which one was this? Delta. They wanted to get in the mix. Still, I think a Boeing flight, I believe they tell us that, say, a Boeing 717. What the shit is that? What's a 717? Is there even such a thing? Is that even a freaking plane? Boeing 717. I think it's American 5 abreast narrow body airliner produced in the 90s. What the hell does it look like? That thing? Oh, one of them. It looks like an MD-80. Oh, okay. I actually thought that was an old MD-80. No way. Okay, so yeah, Boeing 717. Sorry for my moment of crazy. I'll trim that probably. But yeah, the aircraft took off 30 minutes, got smoke in the cabin. Usually smoke in the cabin's a bad sign, or maybe it was, they put something in the cabin. I totally thought it was possible. Who the hell knows what this was, but... Now, I would say that if this was actual smoke, people would be coughing, unquestionably. Especially dramatic people that are like germaphobes and crap like that. Like their people would be, what is it? Oh my God. But if it was just foggy, which happens, I've seen that happen in air conditioning, flying out of Texas or something, plane gets real hot, and then they turn the air on and it starts to literally make fog around the windows. It's kind of cool, actually. And it feels so good because it's usually hot and humid in the plane when they do it. So I don't know. People, they did an emergency landing. Everything, I think, to the best of my ability, best of my knowledge, is everything was okay. They used the chutes, though, to get the hell out of the Boeing 717. That's so cool. Didn't realize that. That is all sorts of wild. Okay, well, that was interesting for me. I literally thought that was like the MD-80, MD-90, like they had some sort of upgrade from that. Maybe, that was when Boeing and McDonnell Douglas came together, huh? Oh, sorry, guys. I just had a moment. That is basically exactly what that is. And it became a Boeing plane. Very interesting. Anyway, sorry. Had a moment where I figured something out, and you guys probably already knew that, or some of you didn't, maybe. I don't know. I should remember that, too. Probably just figured it out for a bunch of you guys. But anyway, Pope Francis is conscious, but still in serious condition. He's not doing well. I don't know. We'll see what happens with him. Just kind of wanted to keep that on the front burner a little bit. Talked a lot about the Pope in the past, and we're going to leave it alone at the moment. I was brought up Catholic, so again, I have opinions, that's for sure, and I've seen some horrible things that the church has done. So some of me wonders if this is supposed to, if not anything, expose the church, certainly expose the stuff they know, start disclosing some of the real information that they've been hiding from the world. Not sure we're ready for it yet, but there's a lot of it. We had a big stock market moment, it seems, is hitting us. This week, we got a whole lot of stuff that's being reported. So this is one of the things that I think people just, this is one of those moments where we'll see how it goes. I know they're talking about consumer price index. It's probably not going to be what they thought. They think the employment numbers, I believe that's some of what this particular story is talking about, weren't what they were supposed to be. And we've been talking about that. Now, two things. One, we knew that they were pumping up the numbers. They were doing it constantly with Biden, and then they'd have to fix them later, but that was usually a month or two later. So we're still sitting in that bubble. And two, they're going to probably truly fix them now because it makes Trump look bad. Even though it's not. It's still way too early. These aren't his numbers. I get all that, but the average normie is be like, how come he hasn't fixed the economy yet? I've heard actual people say that. How come he hasn't fixed the economy yet? Dude, it's been a month. Are you shitting me? Biden's had like 4 years to destroy it. He's just been in there, and you guys are fighting him every step of the way on everything he wants to do, and you're like, where's numbers? Well, go sit on your thumb, dude. Please, spin if you want. I don't care, but sit on it. That's for damn sure. It was such a Potsy phrase, right? You guys remember Happy Days? Sit on it. Sit on it, Potsy. I guess that was something you guys used to say back. I don't know how many people in the audience are from the 50s. Some of you guys. Hey, I want to speak in your language. But yeah, the world's getting crazy. Again, this is one of the myriad of reasons why I think the stock market is a questionable place to have a lot of your wealth. And most of us have it because that's what they've always told us to do. Put it in. It's an easy vehicle. You get your employer to match towards it. I say keep doing that if you're still working especially. But if you're even in a little bit later age, it makes a lot of things like light up as far as possibilities. But your 401k is tied into their system, and I get that. And like I said, you can keep putting money into it. You're still working. They're still matching. That's awesome. What we're talking about is diversifying some of that into precious metals. Precious metals are doing extraordinarily well. Again, I keep thinking about this coin. I was thinking about it this morning. I'm like, I seriously paid like $1,700 for this. So I was trying to remember how many of them. I'd buy a few at a time. It was like I maxed out my card. It took me a little bit, pay them off, but it's up over $1,000 from what I paid for it just 3 years ago. Literally, I paid like $1,700. It's worth $2,900 right now. That's 1,200. This thing in 3 years has gone up that much. I'm not shitting. Look at any of the graphs. It's gone up that much. This one little teeny tiny coin. The buying power has gone up. And there's still a crap ton of growth left. And we know there's a lot of strange stuff going on. And we know there's some weird times possible in the stock market. One of the smart ways is take your winnings, right? It's like when you're in Vegas or something, you're playing with their money now. Like, all right, take some of that, put it back in your pocket so you have the original money, right? And you're still playing with their money. And now you can kind of do some other stuff. Maybe try the blackjack table and see how that goes, right? Like that's what this is all about. Take the winnings at the good time, put them into a place that's freaking doing awesome. I've made over $1,000 on this one coin in 3 years. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Their system under stress and duress. Gold and silver always go up when these kinds of things happen. Frankly, gold's been going up. I mean, it's had some downward spikes, but it's been going up since we got off the gold standard officially. That was like from that point on, gold has gone up. That's when inflation has really just started and has continued because we're no longer pegged by anything. And God knows what's going to happen if we find out there's no money in friggin' Fort Knox. I don't even know what to tell you there. That's going to freak people out. DRSlikesgold.com. You're literally buying physical metals. It's stuck in a trust. They have to put it in a trust because if they gave it to you, that's the same thing as cashing out. You can have them send it to you after you've purchased it, but you will pay fees and penalties and stuff like that. They'll work it in mathematically, but who knows what's going to happen with the IRS. The same. You get it transferred. They literally physically buy gold. It's got your name on it. It's literally yours. They put it into a specific place, location. It's there. It's yours. You can actually get the physical when they pay it out. You don't even have to have them send the equivalent. That would be a cash out, and it's a separate step. You literally can be like, yeah, can you send me a couple of those gold coins? And they're like, yeah, these are questions you want to ask them. They have the best customer service out there. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. By the way, you can qualify up to 10% of the face value of your 401k or IRA in free silver. Silver's doing extraordinarily well. I bought these. These are up, I don't know, probably $7-8 from what I bought them 3 years ago. Silver's doing awesome. So again, things to consider. Up to 10% of the face value of what you transfer over. I think it's, well, I don't know. I don't want to speak to it. They say a face value. I don't know if it's how much you transfer or how much is actually there. Whatever the case is, drslikesgold.com. Find out about all the goodies that you can get. Give the 4 data points, click the button, and let's get busy about learning how you can protect your wealth before these nut jobs do something about it. And again, Goldco doesn't buy into all the crazy crap I talk about. They are just experts at what they do. I'm the one with the nuts. I'm the nut job. I have nuts too, but I have the nut job. And I'm the one that thinks it's not a good idea to be in that system. So it's my craziness, but this is why I partnered with these guys, and I love them. I love Goldco. I think they're awesome. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system before they get out of you. If you didn't dislike Ilhan Omar already, you probably are going to dislike her more, no matter what, at this point.
These people are just idiots. I really, I'm at the point where it's become really hard to have an intellectual debate with any of these people because the level of stupidity that they are displaying every single day is frankly embarrassing, not just in Congress, but as Americans. And the fact that these people are allowed to say just the most ridiculous things tells you that the dumbing of the United States has arrived, because how else do we get a Trump presidency again?
Feels like a female Zelensky to me, actually, now that I think about it. I mean, the accent's very cool, a digger accent. I don't like her in any way, shape, or form. I just think the accent's very kind of weird sounding. But she's like a Zelensky. She's like bitching and moaning and complaining about nonsense. What's funny, though, what's really funny, and here's the note that I keep kind of suggesting to all my friends that get pissed off of, he's doing this, he's doing that. It's like, here's the thing. Overwhelming majority of people support this right now. And here's some more proof of that. Angry donors turn off the money flow to the hopeless Democrats. They're literally pissed. One dude says, I'll be blunt here. The Democratic Party is effing terrible. Plain and simple. Says, in fact, it doesn't get much worse. Another donor. They want us to spend money, and for what? For no message, no organization, no forward thinking. The thing that's clear to a lot of us is that the party never really learned its lesson in 2016. They worked up the same playbook and the same ineffective strategies, and to what end? This is genuine frustration. What kind of dawned on me the other day, by the way, just nobody's donating. That's the big part here. That's the takeaway. But what dawned on me the other day, and I don't know, I'm curious what you guys think. Maybe you can throw it in the comments down there. But if you look at the Republican Party when it was kind of cool, that was really back in the Reagan days, right? A whole lot of Reagan things happened. Bush was really weak. That didn't help. And then went into, obviously, Clinton. And then Bush, when he came in, wasn't really good. So Republicans, I feel like they were really strong in that period of time. And then you had a lot of these younger Democrats at that time. Like Nancy Pelosi was probably only like 80 at that point, right? And now we're much, much further, right? And she slept in the coffin a whole lot more. I'm kidding. But she was much, much younger at that time. And a lot of these people came up through the ranks, these Democrats, and they were young, and they had all this energy. Joe Biden was actually young once, it seems. And I think they kind of took all that energy away from the Republicans because, like, the younger crowd didn't have anyone they could relate to with the Republicans. They were all a bunch of old people, and frankly, that's not good for image when you want to get the younger voters involved too. So the Democrats took that. Well, what's happened is the Democrats have become the old party. Now, granted, Trump is old, sure, but he's got a lot of younger people that are in there that people that are younger are like, oh, I like this guy. So it's almost like we took back the youth thing again. And I think that's part of why this movement and momentum is occurring. There's also an ascension process happening, let's be honest. But I think there's a lot of dynamics at work. And I think the Democrats, literally, like the people are saying, they haven't changed their tune because that's the same tune they know. That's the only tune they know. That's what they've been doing for 50 years. Why would they stop? It worked 50 years ago. Of course it'll work today. And it's like, no. It doesn't anymore. And they're losing money. They're bleeding money badly, actually, right now. Now, there was a rumor floating around that Elon Musk caught members giving their answers using Grok, but that actually wasn't the case. What Elon Musk is essentially saying is he's like, dude, just respond to my email. I'm not trying to make anything difficult for you. Here's what you could even do. And he literally gives an example. He goes, go to Grok and say, make up 5 things I accomplished at work this week that they can't really verify. I work for the government. Keep it brief. So it said, 1, streamlined the filing process, cutting retrieval time by 20%. Briefed a senior official on a classified project, earned a nod of approval. Debugged an internal database glitch that was, you get the point, right? He's telling them, look, and Trump even tells, I've got info from there, but he's like, dude, we just want to see if there's somebody there. Because they figure there's a lot of places that aren't actually there, that there's people that just don't work for the government anymore or whatever the case is, and they're probably still paying a paycheck somewhere, and maybe they shouldn't be. And that seems to be I don't know what kind of money they're talking, but it seems to be a big enough chunk where they're literally like, let's just see if there's anybody there, if they're at least checking their emails. Bare minimum, all you got to do is respond back to this email, and you could probably put, I massaged my cat, like responding to it would count. Now, I do wonder how the deep state's able to maybe respond to those emails, but I don't think they can because I think the computer systems are already kind of locked down at this point, or at least they'd be paying attention to maybe the same IP or some, I don't know, just there'd be some characteristics I would assume. If they're really good, they would be able to pull this off. I don't know. It made me think a lot of this, like how can they cheat? And they will. So, but it's a good point. So federal workers sue Elon Musk over the threat to fire them if they don't explain their accomplishments. We've actually got FBI, they've come out and said, look, no, you probably shouldn't do that because you do some stuff that they don't need to know about, right? Department of Homeland Security, I believe, has also kind of said, no, look, here, you guys do classified things. Don't respond to that email. And Trump's even had that thrown at him. I think I play that too coming up here in a sec. And he's like, no, his answer's right. He's like, no, some of these people shouldn't be. Again, he explains it. This is really just straightforward. Like, we're trying to make sure you're there. Literally. And then, I guess I'm tripping on it. I guess maybe you guys are like, what? I don't get it, Dan, or maybe some of you are tripping too, but I'm like, literally, they're wondering if they're there. Like, at all. That blows my mind. The fact that and I believe it's possible. The government is that inept and that incapable, it's likely that there's people that have been fired or let go or died and never really made it to the proper channels to remove their access to stuff. Like, there's people that have access that their access might still be being used, but they might not even be alive. There's programs that people write sometimes that are run on their access and maybe they don't want to change it. There's so many different things it's insane. So they're being sued, of course. It's all good. It's going to slow it down a little bit, but it's still ultimately going to happen. Here's Trump talking about it while he was hanging out with douchehole Macron.
The agency has instructed their employees not to respond. They're waiting on further guidance. But Elon Musk's tweet said a failure to respond would be taken as a resignation. So there's been a disconnect in communications.
Yeah.
Are you concerned at all?
Only, no. That was done in a friendly manner. Only things such as perhaps Marco at State Department, where they have very confidential things, or the FBI, where they're working on confidential things. And they don't mean that in any way combatively with Elon. They're just saying there are some people that you don't want to really have them tell you what they're working on last week. But other than that, I think everyone thought it was a pretty ingenious idea. We have to find out where these people are. Who are they? And we said, if you don't respond, we assume you're not around.
That holds, that stands.
And you're not getting paid anymore, too. So, we're doing a real job. And we just had a poll come out, I guess the Harvard poll, saying that it's massively popular what we're doing.
Benefit from more streamlined communications. There was that email telling employees to give 5 things that they've done last week. Agency has then told people to ignore it.
You're talking about the last email that was sent where he wanted to know what you did this week. You know why he wanted that, by the way? I thought it was great. Because we have people that don't show up to work and nobody even knows if they work for the government. So by asking the question, tell us what you did this week, what he's doing is saying, are you actually working? And then if you don't answer, like you're sort of semi-fired or you're fired, because a lot of people are not answering because they don't even exist. They're trying to find, that's how badly various parts of our government were run by, and especially by this last group. So what they're doing is they're trying to find out who's working for the government. Are we paying other people that aren't working? And, where is all that? Where's the money gone? We have found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud so far. And
again, one of the big parts of that is they are trying to figure out how many people are actually working for the government that aren't actually here. And they're being fought tooth and nail. They were even fighting the email address that they were using because it was a specific email address that literally was being used to send to all .gov employees. So they had this one email. And that got fought. They're like, we can't trust this. This is weird. It's a .gov. It's a singularized messaging system, which, of course, they don't like, but that's exactly what happened. And they fought it. Why? Because they were trying to act like, well, some people aren't going to respond to it because they don't recognize it. It's a .gov email. It's an internal email. So they obviously are aware of the fact that they've got some problems, some definite problems. USAID bloodbath as Trump fires 2,000 workers and puts thousands more on leave. So he's actually finally got permission to do that. The judge on Friday allowed the administration to move forward with pulling thousands of domestic U.S. aid staffers off the job and around the world. U.S. District Judge Carl Nichols rejected pleas that came in a lawsuit from employees to keep a temporarily block on the government's plan. Agency also said it was cutting the U.S.-based workforce by about 2,000 employees. And as of 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, February 23rd, 2025, all USAID direct hire personnel, with the exception of designated personnel responsible for mission-critical functions, core leadership, and or specially designated programs, will be placed on administrative leave globally. This is according to a notice sent to USAID workers, and apparently the Associated Press got their hands on it. Wouldn't surprise me if somebody shared it, right? So that I consider that a legitimate leak, for sure. That's a huge number of people that just lost their jobs. The purge is escalating and will continue, and it's freaking them out. Something horrendous, that's for sure. Now, this is a funny story. I don't know how to take it. I don't necessarily buy the take, but somebody said the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development screens in the cafeteria were hacked and displayed a fake video of President Trump kissing Elon's feet. Odds are the person that has control of those TVs, and there's always somebody, put that video up. It wasn't hacked. That's crap. I'm sure that individual probably doesn't work there anymore. I'm sure Elon Musk and or Trump were like, find out who did it. And they did, and they will. So, whatever. I don't think it was a hack, though. I think that's ridiculous. Fort Knox audit. So many are just wondering, is this going to be a spot check or like a full-blown audit? And I know a lot of you guys right off the bat are like, full-blown audit. Well, you would never do that. By the way, that's stupid. Not that you're stupid. It's that idea is just not well thought out. And here's why. Let me just give an example. What you would always do is you do a spot check. You do a spot audit. You do a spot count and make sure, and you just pick some weird random places. You randomize as good as you can. You grab a decent sample. That we could debate on what is a fair, decent sample. I don't know. I don't want to get into exact numbers, but you do a spot check. And you do a legit check. You check for purity, you check for weight, you check for all that crap, right? And then if that's 100%, well, you got nothing to worry about. Really, you can assume, you just do a quick count of the bars. You're like, yeah, it looks like that's about how many bars that is, right? And then you just make some assumptions, right? But if you find in the small sample problems, well, then you start to extrapolate out what those problems would be amongst the general population. You start to expand the audit maybe a little further. See if it holds true, and that would lead to a full-blown audit, because at that point, you've got to figure out what's good, what's bad, and we need to take an actual accounting of this room. Now, the way it's laid out, apparently, I've never been, but some people have talked about it, is there's like 13 different areas, and they're all kind of just stacked in there. I don't know, it sounds pretty crazy. Some of the real fun numbers, so supposedly in Fort Knox, there's supposed to be 368,000 gold bars, each weighing 400 troy ounces, which is the equivalent of 27.5 pounds. If you laid them flat, they would cover an entire football field in a single layer. Can you imagine that? An entire football field layered in a gold brick? That'd be crazy. That's crazy, right? That's something like Saudi Arabia's right thinking about it right now. They're like, dude, we could play soccer on gold. Total weight is over 4,500 metric tons, the equivalent of 113 fully loaded semi-trucks. The value is approximately $430 billion US based on recent spot prices, because it's gone up so much. More than combined market cap of Boeing, General Motors, and Lockheed Martin, and also larger than the net worth of Elon Musk. Yeah, look at that. We technically are worth more than Elon Musk. Barely. But we certainly are technically worth more than Elon Musk. So we'll find out where that goes, how that gets there, and all that good stuff. Following key wins, Trump poised for cabinet completion in record time. I was impressed with this. 18 of 22 cabinet positions he's already gotten through. This is like the fastest ever. So as much as it's been like painful for us because we all wanted him immediately, right? Especially Kash Patel. But we're 18 of the 22 cabinet positions. Also very cool that Kash was the 17th, by the way. He literally was the 17th cabinet position. And I think that was a nod. I think Trump did it on purpose. He's like, only one of you are going to get that number. Who do you think deserves it the best? And I bet you Kash was probably on many people's lips. Dude, that guy's been out in the trenches. He's been on, X-22 a crap ton of times. Like, this dude's all over the place. Kash has been a rock star. Huge fan of the man, and so very glad he got the number. He deserved it. But only 4 more cabinet positions are supposed to go. The most recent was Senator Kelly Loeffler. Again, we keep stealing people out of the Senate, creating these weird voting problems for ourselves. I don't know if that affects the. I don't know how that works. I don't know if that affects the overall majority. Like, if we lose somebody, and then we have to ultimately have a special election for that individual. Like, I know they put in a substitute, and usually I believe it's the governor of the state gets to choose that person, which is also concerning sometimes. Again, there's so much weirdness with what's going on right now that I'm like, what do you guys know that I haven't quite figured out yet? Again, it's not that there's plenty of questions I'll never figure out probably, but that's a weird one to me. Like, why are we pulling people, especially the House? We've pulled a bunch of people from the House. Why? And we've got some that want to leave for others. One to be in the Trump administration. I feel like there was one, Vivek's going to run for Ohio, I think it was, but I think there was somebody else that was, anyway, there's crazy stuff. We'll see. I don't know. It makes me nervous. Maybe I just need to calm down. Trump truth this. Great news for law enforcement and American justice. Dan Bongino, a man of incredible love and passion for our country and a giant head, no offense, Dan, has just been named the next deputy director of the FBI by the man who will be the best ever director, Kash Patel. Dan has a master's degree in psychology from CUNY. Cunny. It's almost a shame that last letter's not a T. And he has an MBA from Penn State. He was a member of the New York Police Department, New York's finest, a highly respected special agent with the United States Secret Service, and is now one of the most successful podcasters in the country. Something he is willing and prepared to give up in order to serve. Working with our great new United States Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Director Patel, fairness, justice, law, and order will be brought back to America and quickly. Congratulations, Dan. That's huge. So he's going to be the Deputy Director of the FBI. That is so rad. Dan Bongino, good stuff. And he does have a giant head. I'm not trying to be a mean, but I don't know. Here it is. I'm not joking. See? Is it just me? I mean, it literally puffs out at the top. Maybe most people's hair hides that, but this dude's a hybrid. He's part alien. I'm sure of it. I'm not saying that jokingly either. You can kind of see it in his eyes, too. It's kind of funny. Whatever the case is. Wonderful man. Love him. And there's nothing wrong with hybrids. They're wonderful people, too. Or whatever. He's got a giant head, folks. I'm just saying. Just a friggin' huge head. His poor mother. She screamed. They could hear her for zip codes. I'm telling you. GOP Senator Marsha Blackburn demands FBI IRS release its complete unredacted Epstein flight logs. Well, we got the right people in play now. We've also had our boy. I thought he was talking about it somewhere. We've also had our boy Dan Bongino has talked a lot about this. I thought I had that pulled up. That's unfortunate, but yes, this is pretty funny too. This post here. This is Anna Paulina Luna. I almost shared it, might as well. But she says, you are here. So this is the F-A-F-O, right? And you're at the second F. You've already F'd around. Now you're in the finding part, and out is coming. So whatever. It's pretty damn funny. So yes, Senator Marsha Blackburn demanding that they release this information. Like I said, I thought we had some Bongino in there. Oh, cool. This did refresh. I was afraid I'd have to refresh it. No. Whatever the case is. That's interesting. This is polymarket. This is essentially marketing in its finest. I think it ties into the betting too. But these are the people that they believe. And this is what people literally are paying money to make a vote too. I don't understand that. That is so strange to me. But people are going to be named in Epstein's files by June 30th. Bill Clinton's doing pretty good on this list. I wish we could sort by this. Can I? Nope, won't let me sort by it. Bill Clinton's 54% though. People thinking Bill Gates, 56%. Ehud Barak, 54%. Prince Andrew, 51%. Seems way higher chance that Prince Andrew's been there. So they're like the top guys. And then just coming up down, we got Alan Dershowitz, 43%. I've seen a picture that showed him apparently in the water with people. Now, whether he did anything scandalous is questionable. Stephen Hawking on there. Well, that would be interesting. He was there, I believe. I don't know what they were able to do. Guy's already punished enough, I think, don't you? Tom Hanks, people 35%. Oprah Winfrey, that'd be interesting. Ellen DeGeneres, I feel like she's probably there. Tony Blair, kind of a guarantee. Justin Trudeau, of course. Jamie Dimon, probably. Alec Baldwin, wouldn't surprise me. Joe Biden, for sure. David Copperfield, it'll bum me out a little, but all right. Hillary Clinton, 19% only. Interesting. It's by a no at 84%. So not a lot of people thinking that's going to be finding out. That blows my mind because I thought that was from where that one story comes from, but maybe that was a different location. All said, these are the big people. Oh, Donald Trump's actually trending 14%. Barack Obama's equal with Donald Trump. That's kind of funny in its own right, but whatever. Yeah, I wouldn't bet on any of that nonsense. Frankly, I wouldn't recommend you do it either. Here is the thing I was talking about, Dan Bongino. At least talking about this guy. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, now that he's deputy director, you almost got to wonder if this is finally going to come out.
Folks, this Crooks thing stinks to the heavens, man. This has the stench of sulfur all over it. You can't find this guy's communications anywhere. He's managed to find the Catwoman freaking program to wipe himself off the internet. Bullshit. The question you should ask, and Congress people, you need to ask under oath, was Matthew Crooks working with any FBI agent, off duty, on duty, between duty, near duty, retired, not born yet? You get the point? Also, was Thomas Crooks working with FBI asset, confidential informant, a non-confidential informant, an informant who's confidential now but wasn't before, an informant who wants to be an informant but hasn't been approved yet? Do you see the games they play?
Sort of like we got the right guy in there. His head doesn't look as big in this particular image, by the way. I'm just saying, your hair, it's helping. It's helping, man. It's helping the hybrid look. I love him. Sorry, I'm going to keep teasing him. I love the guy. Judge blocks Department of Education, OPM, from disclosing troves of sensitive personal data to DOGE. We've got another judge that's slowing down DOGE. Doesn't want him to get into the Office of Personnel Management. I think we're also holding them back. The Treasury one's moving forward. There was another one, I thought, the tax one. The IRS was another one. I probably got that story somewhere. I think it's next, maybe. But yeah, federal judge temporarily barred the Department of Government Efficiency from accessing troves of sensitive personal data. I think so far, this is U.S. District Judge Deborah Boardman. Every one of these has failed so far. Any of them that has gone any length forward, they end up losing 100% so far. Pretty sure that's going to keep going because ultimately Trump's in charge of these government agencies, and there's no way anyone can stop him from letting people go. You can be a union all you want. It's like, yeah, but there's no guarantees on headcount. You can charge each one of these guys everything you want, but you're about to lose a whole bunch of money. And that's a big part of what's happening right now. This is an attack on the unions, 100%. So it's a number of things happening. I don't think it was as intentional as maybe just something that you're like when it happens, right? You're just glad. Judge blocks immigration raids at religious groups suing Trump administration. Again, this will not pass, but this has to do with the Quaker, Baptist, and Sikh, I assume is how you say that, places of worship. That place was sick, yo. But yeah, U.S. Judge Theodore Chuang, he was appointee by the former President Obama. He's the one that's holding this one back right now. Again, no biggie. It's cool. It's all coming together. New York City Mayor Eric Adams announced Monday that the city will close the Asylum Seeker Arrival Center at the Roosevelt Hotel. I think that's where a bunch of that money went. It was a site that was a frequent target of criticism from Elon Musk and Trump. Over 170,000 migrants completed registration at the Manhattan Hotel since its opening in May of 2023. Accounting for nearly 3/4 of the 232,000 migrants who entered the city since the spring of 2022. Here's what I think is kind of like the missed part of this story, almost, is that Trump's kind of shut the border down, and so we aren't now migrating people the way that we were. I mean, Homan's not anymore. They're not busing people into the interior of the country anymore. No, none of that's happening. It's like you got people that aren't here properly, they're out, they're gone, done. We're flying them back to where they go. Process them, figure that out, sending them back. Period. So they realize we don't need this anymore either. Now, they would have kept it going for eons and just used the money and kept it. That's what these things do. They keep these things going forever. Governments don't ever claw back money. Governments don't ever stop spending on a project. It continues ad infinitum. They just add more and more stuff. That's why they're either A, you need more people in this country to pay taxes, or B, we need to charge you higher taxes. Which do you prefer? And it's like, for us, it's like, how about C? How about you spend less money? Yeah, let's try that on for size. Let's shrink governments. It's way the hell too damn big. So that's what's happening. People don't like it. I don't give a shit. Border Patrol taking control of former USAID headquarters. Kind of cool. Literally putting the Border Patrol in USAID's headquarters building. It's just, if you can't think of something more appropriate that kind of just changes the karma of the building in a cool kind of way. But they are going to occupy the quote-unquote USAID tower. And it's kind of, I guess, a nice building. Ronald Reagan building. Going to undergo a dramatic shift. So, yep, that's happening. This was good. What was this? How the IRS's largest mafia is in America. Yeah, I want to play this. I know I'm going to be long today, unfortunately, but this is a pretty good. This is forever. Martha McCullough. No, it's not Martha. Who the hell is this? This was I'm drawing a blank on her name, but she's still in. That's forever ago. It's like way back in the 90s or something with this news. But this is huge, and people were trying to de-tax and all that stuff. I actually knew people that did it. One of them got way busted for it. But this is a big deal, and yeah, curious what you guys think. This really explains it well.
Why do you think you've been able to get away with not paying or filing your income taxes for so long?
Well, first of all, I've not gotten away with anything. I'm not hiding from anyone. I'm simply asking the IRS to show me the laws that apparently require me to do these things, and they are suspiciously reticent to answer questions from me. And of course, there are millions of other people, many other organizations who have attempted to get answers. They act very suspiciously when asked to simply sit down at the table with the American people and discuss what their obligations are. Right. Rather than pulling up a chair, they pull out a club.
These liens that are recorded against people by the government for tax liens are nothing more than allegations. They are non-substantive. They have never been determined by a neutral third party, such as a court, to have one shred of validity.
If you ever get a notice of an audit or anything else, the first thing you should do is a Freedom of Information Act request for records that they're using to substantiate or justify the audit.
There is nothing in the Internal Revenue Code that creates any such thing as an income tax evasion or crime. There's nothing in the code that allows IRS agents to seize property. The government is involved in judicial blackmail. The government knows that if it legally seizes somebody's property, that person doesn't have the funds and he can't even get a lawyer who can help him.
I conducted investigations in the Title 18, the Criminal Code, the U.S. Criminal Code. And in there, the statutes and the regulations are very specific as to what's violating the statute. In the Internal Revenue Code, Title 26, there's nothing specific in there. I mean, even the FBI feared the IRS.
You have to understand that an agency which will unlawfully impose a tax that doesn't exist is not going to care. If we, the people, don't know what our rights are, they're not going to tell us.
If Americans just learned that the IRS was actually knowingly deceiving them, that would be enough for them to rise up and put a stop to it.
This small booklet includes the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence. This is a document that every citizen should read. It's a document which freed an entire nation. This is the Internal Revenue Code. And this document, and the unlawful application of this document by the Internal Revenue Service has enslaved the nation that this document attempted to free.
And yes, I know taxes aren't legal. For all of you that have already emailed me, just understand. I know. Again, there's a lot of people that I want to say are under the impression that people have stopped paying taxes. I want to let you know, anybody that has an actual normal W-2 kind of job, right? Like literally you get paid hourly or something like that, you aren't allowed to stop paying taxes. You can put a whole lot of deductibles for people and children and whatnot, but you literally can't go to HR. Try it. Most of you guys probably haven't even tried it, but most companies anyways, most, won't let you do that because it creates a giant nightmare for them. They end up getting in trouble, by the way. So they won't allow you to do that. So this idea that people just stop paying their taxes, it's easier said than done. And it's people that are business owners, like self-included even, like where you're 1099 essentially, right? Like that's like, now you're, all right, can I get away with this? Do I make enough to where I'm going to show up on the radar? Because the second you do and you haven't paid taxes for whatever reason, they get you with that and fines and fees. And if you actually don't have a crap ton of money set aside just in case, you're screwed. They will, like they said, take your house, take your car, take your life. So it's an easy thing to say for a lot of people. Well, just don't pay your taxes. It's not as easy as said, I think. That's all. I just want to be fair to it. Again, I don't agree with the legality. I think we finally manifested somebody that's going to help us get out of this nonsense, which is, we'll find out, hopefully, but he's been talking about it. Crazy woo stuff. I don't know anything about Whitney Lynn. I don't know. She apparently predicted the LA fires. First off, I've known psychics. I don't even want to get into my own stuff. Like I got background. Like I'm not an idiot when it comes to this stuff. But I also want to explain something. Future's never set in stone. Never, ever, ever. There's certain things that we are likely going to go through. And then there's, for a lot of us, it's what the most probable future is right now. So anytime you ask about a future, one, how far out are you talking? That changes a lot. Two, whatever they tell you, you now can impact the future. I've seen it happen multiple times. I've had it happen to me. I've had people tell me, like, this is what's going to happen. It's like, if I would have stayed on that course, probably. But the second I was aware of it, then I started, like, looking for it. Like, I started messing with it. You mess it up. So, again, psychics are awesome. Okay? And we always talk about them like, yeah, they were right about this, and they were right about that, and they were right about that. What we don't say is they were wrong about 55 other things, though. Nobody's perfect at being a psychic. Yes, a lot of prophets do nail stuff, and yes, they get some stuff wrong. That's totally part of the game. But just because somebody says something doesn't necessarily mean it's true. There's still two time frames. The best I can tell you guys, there's still two timelines. They're reasonably close. They've peeled apart quite a bit. But best I can tell, there's still people that are reading from both timelines. And what I'm not sure of is maybe they're actually on that timeline themselves and we're not. I don't know. I think they're reading the old timeline. But sometimes I wonder. I don't know if this is an old timeline or not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I've noticed a lot of interesting stuff when it comes to prophetics. So again, you guys, you'll believe what you do. And again, fun one to comment. But here is this lady talking about what she sees happening in New York. New York might want to be worried if you lived anywhere near Times Square.
I see in the spirit. I don't know if it's spiritual or physical, but I see that Manhattan Bridge may not be there any longer. I see bombs coming. I see destruction all around. I see things being emptied out. I see desolation. I see destruction of buildings, bridges, Times Square. I tell you, make things right with Jesus Christ today. He's the Lord of Lords and King of Kings. He came and he died on a cross for your sins and mine and rose again in 3 days. He is alive. He's the one true God. But the wages of our sin is death, hell, forever. What are sins? Lying, cheating, murder, abortion, homosexuality, sex before marriage, drunkenness. These very sins will separate you from a holy God forever and ever. There will be consequence on the earth for the sin that you live in. But there is hope in Jesus, because Jesus came to rescue you from that sin. He came to conquer hell, death, and the grave. He came so you and I would be forgiven.
Now, I'm going to be totally honest. I'm guilty of a few of those things you just listed off, and I'm not going to stop being guilty of those things. I don't want to, because I don't consider them to be sins. She says they are. I have my own relationship with God. I think he's fine with what I'm doing. I think it comes down to where you are with your soul and how you treat people in general. So whatever the case is, this is some of the fun. And, one of the problems I have with my audience in general, right? Because there's a lot of very, very religious people, and I like poke at that. I poke that bear all the time. And it's not because I like being a dick. It's because, unfortunately, we've been lied to about a lot of stuff. Here's a fun little experiment that's been done on this planet. You guys might think this is, who's the one with Jim Carrey where he was Truman? Yeah, the Truman Show, right? Yeah, it's like the real life version of that, basically.
You're telling me there are fake towns in the middle of the Atlantic?
Yeah, listen to this. There's an island called Halcyon Ridge, completely hidden from the outside world, controlled by a private organization called Vanguard Initiative. Decades ago, they bought the island and turned it into one massive, twisted experiment. They built towns straight out of a 1950s postcard. Perfect houses, white picket fences, happy neighbors. But it's all a lie.
The people living there?
They were either orphans raised in total isolation or, get this, grown from embryos in secret labs. From birth, they were brainwashed to believe that a global disaster wiped out the rest of the world. As far as they know, Halcyon Ridge is the only safe place left on Earth. If someone starts asking too many questions, Vanguard Initiative steps in fast, either reprogramming them or making them disappear altogether. And just so we're clear, this is all for entertainment purposes, right?
Obviously not entertainment. It's a study. It's how it's. People are very easy to control. That's all I can say. I've seen it a bunch. This is going to offend anybody that's sensitive to the F word. So if fuck offends you, please understand this will offend you a lot because there's multiple fucks thrown within this one. I think well placed, by the way. I think it was the proper usage of fuck. Sometimes you got to do it, but I don't know. What the fuck? All said, this is funny. And I was too worried about trying to pull off the verbal part of that. Whatever. This is funny as hell, though.
Right, let's get this over with. First question, Robert, hit me. What you got?
Caroline, do you have any comment on President Trump's recent profanity?
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
I just don't understand how you can say
Bob,
that.
Bob,
what?
Shut the fuck up. I'm talking. The last administration was too polite to say this to you fucks, but quit acting like a bunch of bitches.
Caroline!
Mark, it's that time of the month for me, man. I'm not in the fucking mood. You in the front, hit me.
Caroline, your husband's over twice your age. Any comment on that?
Yeah, I'll comment. I'm happily married, and I love older men. Gary, your hairline's been receding since you were 6 years old. Any comment on that?
Caroline!
Didn't fucking think so. Hey, how about this? Instead of asking about my husband's age, why don't you do your fucking job and ask questions that Americans will benefit from? Jerry, I swear to God, you keep crying like a little bitch. I'll have ICE come to your house and deport your poodle. Don't think I won't fucking do it.
Like, I don't understand
Peter, you're barking up the wrong tree. You're 46 with back problems. I'm 27 with a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Really?
I will beat the shit out of you so bad your wife will leave you for Roger. Don't fuck with me. As you can tell, there's a new sheriff in town. So nut up, bring your A game, and start asking better questions. And Peter...
What?
Dude, stop with the fucking bow tie.
What?
You look like a pedophile. That's all the time I got for you fucks.
That's hilarious. So again, someone pretending to be the new speaker of the what do they call it? The White House press secretary, right? That's not far off. I wonder if she's actually a black belt like that. That could be very well true. Don't know. I got some more confirmation on this product. Folks, one, it's one thing to love a product and notice it's working within yourself. Two, I just got the gel for my girlfriend. She literally just took her first dose. Dose is the wrong way to say it. Her first, it's a supplement. She took the first package. She liked the taste of it, by the way. It tastes a lot like this stuff, I think. It tastes similar. She loves the taste of this. This is lemon berry. This one's like mixed berry. I don't know. It's I haven't tried it. I take the pills. I like the stem active pills. But here's the thing. I know a guy, buddy of mine, Nick, thank you. He talked about how his knee is better. He's been taking the stem active for probably, I don't know, I'm going to guess about a month maybe, Nick. I don't know, probably about right. Maybe 3 weeks, 2 weeks, somewhere in that vicinity. I noticed it with my shoulder. My left shoulder. It's kind of weird. It was hurting when I was going to the gym. There's just some strange stuff going on with it. And that's completely gone. 100% gone. I mean, I don't know. This is powerful. I've got some other places where I was noticing pains starting to creep in. Like I've broken toes and I've broken fingers. Like I have like moments where I notice pains in places that I'm like, figures. And even that seems to be getting better. And I still walk a lot. Like I go to the gym, I do cardio. I typically walk treadmill or do the Stairmaster, one of those two. Damn, right? Like, and the feet just kind of take it a little bit. I'm noticing improvements there. So Stem Active is freaking awesome. Gel or the pills, however you take it, it's making a difference. Like I said, girlfriend just started last night. I look forward to seeing what she notices. She's got calcification, literally showed up in an x-ray. It's also the same place she got her 2 vaccines, but also her tetanus shot. And I don't know, both her and I right now are more suspicious of that. I don't know if the T shot was the one. I don't know, but she's had 3 shots there. It's weird. Her skin like turns white when you scar it. She's got a weird scar on her shin, and you can see 3 little dots on her arm from where she got shots. So we're going to see. I'll let you guys know. I mean, again, I've had other people confirm the stem cell. All it does is it's an enhancement. It's not actually putting stem cells in your body. First off, it would cost way the F more than it does if you're putting stem cells. Two, stem cells generally come from fetuses, usually. What this does is this is a supplement, and it enhances your stem cell count by your own body significantly, like by up to 40%. And it's like 20 to 40% is what's known, noticeable, and it's been proven, right? Like this, even with older people like us. And when you get more stem cells, you got more healing ability. It just makes it. The stem cells are what do the healing. They are cells that can become anything. So danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. First off, just Healthy Home's awesome, or Heal Thy Home, which is another way to look at it. It's kind of funny. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Stem cells out of the park. The collagen's another one. Skins, wrinkles, like especially if you're losing weight. Some of you guys might be doing Ozempic. But this would be something you'd probably want to consider because you lose weight fast. You kind of have flabby, saggy, and that takes a little while for your skin to kind of shrink back down. This kind of helps with that process too. But helps with skin, helps with hair, helps with joints, helps with bones, like just helps. It's one of the most important proteins in your body is collagen. This is an amazing source of it. I got a box right here myself. I love this stuff, and it's also part of my regimen. The A012, they keep telling me they're sending it. I think they were out of stock of this stuff for a little while. This one's coming into play. I guess I'm getting some, so it'll be interesting to see what I notice from this. I'm curious. I've not tried it. It's supposed to take antioxidants out of your body, which generally those are the things that destroy cells, help cause aging. They kind of move aging process forward a lot. It's the antioxidants that mess you up. This is supposed to be really good at removing those, like knocking that crap out. It's going to help you stay younger looking longer. And then when you're doing stuff with collagen, it's going to work. And then this one, I love this one. It's weird how much I love this. Nitric oxide booster. I don't know. I don't think it's addictive. I don't think. I'm not like out in the parking lot offering services for, hey, you got some Prime? No, I'm not doing that. Nitric oxide booster is awesome. And I don't crave it. I don't notice when I forget to do it. I forgot a couple days over the weekend. I was like, oh yeah, I didn't take any of that. No way. And so, it's not like that. But it's weird is when I use it, I notice that I'm using it. It's better. I just have more energy, whatever the case is. Not sure. It's a beautiful thing. I think it has to do with, it helps you get more oxygen into the blood cells. I think that's kind of what nitric oxide helps with. So if you got more oxygen being delivered per unit of blood, it just helps with your overall energy. That's a lot of my theory. They probably got more. There's the button here. I should study up on this stuff, and I will. But danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com, and they actually have Stem Active for your pets, by the way. If you want to help your animals increase their stem cells, their healing, maybe they've been through some sort of trauma or something and need some healing. It just helps with the healing, folks. Stem cells can become whatever. You need, your body needs something, your liver, your lung, your whatever. All those cells are normally like a liver, lung, pancreas, skin, like they're specific cells. And once a cell becomes a specific cell, or once a cell's grown as a specific cell, it can't ever become something else. Stem cells are the only cells in the body that really are just like androgynous cells. They're like, what do you want to be today? I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like a lung today. And then, and they go running off to the lungs and become a lung cell. And that's it. They spend the rest of their lives as a lung cell. So stem cells are super important in the healing process. You've got damaged areas that are kind of being dealt with, and your body needs to repair. And the repair stuff is the stem cells, big time. So this is a huge, huge, huge helper. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com, danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. I'm hoping to hear more stories from you guys because, again, it's just hearing a lot of people say stuff. And like I said, the girlfriend's going to be a great case study. Governor DeSantis is a good man. He had me very concerned with the whole lift thing when he was running against Trump, but he never said bad stuff against Trump, and I always called that out. I always thought, I was like, all right, like Trump says some kind of harsh stuff about him, but he didn't, and that was kind of where I was like, all right, he's probably playing a role here, but at that same time, I needed to kind of continue to bat him down, right, because that was what was supposed to happen. Trump was supposed to look better than him no matter what. That was always the plan, right? So whatever. However it played out, I think it was interesting. I like where he's at. I like what he's trying to build. And this is him doing something I think is very similar. I think his governorship ends in what, a year or two? You guys can correct me on that, but it's coming. Maybe sooner than that even. So he's trying to put something in place that's short-lived that he can make sure happens, and it's DOGE-esque for Florida. Pretty cool.
So, we have already been doing this stuff. This will really help enhance that. So today, I'm pleased to announce that we are launching a comprehensive initiative to continue to streamline our government and to continue to eliminate unnecessary bureaucracy and to continue to ensure tax dollars are used in the most efficient way possible. We are creating a state DOGE task force that will implement a multi-pronged approach to eliminating bureaucratic bloat and modernizing our state government to best serve the people of Florida in the years ahead. This will be just similar to the federal DOGE. It's going to be a limited amount of time. It'll be a one-year term. It will sunset following the completion of the mission. Now, we've already been looking at things that we can do leading into this upcoming legislative session, and we've already earmarked over 70 state boards and commission for abolishment and to sunset them. This will restore power and accountability to Floridians. I mean, I get all these boards, and we have gotten rid of some, and then we get appointments to all this different stuff, and I'm like, well, why can't we just do that through the agency? Do we even need this? And so we've asked these questions over the last really couple years to tee up this major reform. So we will be proposing over 70 state boards and commission to sunset and to get them off the books. Again, I don't know that there's that many other states that are doing it. Actually, Iowa Governor Reynolds, I know she sunsetted a lot of agencies, and that seems to have worked very well. There may be a couple examples.
I love it. I just love how he's being positive. And two, understand, DOGE, it just hit me too. DOGE is, when we used to talk about the Q post way back when, you guys can correct me on this, but I swear I remember us having this concept that the United States was going to lead the way, that the United States was breaking through this, that what happened to the United States is what happened to everybody else. And I actually think DOGE is more of the answer, at least right now, but I think even in the big picture, than we ever realized. I think a lot of us thought it would be the military or somehow I don't know. But the fact that DOGE literally is the lock and key mechanism, it's the combination of the deep state's movements. Everything that we've seen through our treasury, where it went is a bank account likely in a foreign land. If we were able to audit all of those Fed facilities, think about what we'd figure out. And we have the combination to that. This is what they've been doing for eons. We've gotten our hands on the data, and we've figured out what it is. Well, another example, and this is, again, it's very complex, multi-headed hydra. Please don't ever just simplify it down to one thing. No, it's many, many things. It's a bed of nails. And each nail is like USAID, like crazy, like jobs they get, like whatever, right? Like there's so many points of interest. We've basically been speared by all of them like a bed of nails. You could literally lie on a bed of nails because there's so many nails, the way it distributes the weight of the body, they don't actually pierce. It actually works nicely, and I've heard it's not uncomfortable even. I mean, you wouldn't want to just fall on it. I don't think you'd want to jump up and down on it. Probably not, but there's an example of what we love about the old world that's crumbling. Former Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm, we did not like her. Dan speaking here. Me, myself, and I disliked this woman a bunch. We were 100% in agreement. Don't like her. She announced Thursday that she will be joining the boards of directors for Southern California Edison Company and its parent corporation, Edison International, one of the largest utility companies in the world. This comes just 6 months after Granholm's departure from the Department of Energy. And she was had awarded a $600 million set of utilities, or dollars, to the Southern California Utilities Company that is hiring her. $600 million deal. She's now got herself a job. DOGE is figuring this stuff out. They don't like it at all. This is funny as hell. French President Macron, bastard, I don't know actually. Bastado's Spanish, I think. I don't know how to say it in French. I don't know how to say a lot of shit in French, but he kind of showed up and really not a whole lot of people there. I don't know. We got a military guy always present, and then I don't know who's a press secretary. I don't know who that. It's not press secretary. I don't know who the chick in the blue dress is. The lady with the blue dress. Is it Monica? Right? Wouldn't that be funny? Come on, give me a few of you laughed. A couple of you guys had to have laughed. That'd be funny, especially if you could see the stain from here. Oh, probably still too soon, but funny as hell. All said. Here's Monica waiting for the president, but no Trump. He doesn't give a shit. Kind of surprised he wasn't wearing like a green sweatshirt. That would have been funny. I mean, they could do so many things that I think would be hilarious for the world, but most people don't have senses of humor about this kind of stuff. Trump knows the deep state literally stole the gold. He's made another comment that is oddly appropriate. He's calling them out. He's like, we're going to announce this to everybody. Everybody's going to find out, and then we're going to figure out where it went. Because that bar of gold most likely is still a bar of gold somewhere, not turned into a Rolex. Maybe, who knows. But here's Trump saying a very short snippet. Hopefully it doesn't chop it in a weird way.
We're actually going to Fort Knox to see if the gold is there, because maybe somebody stole the gold. Tons of gold.
Tons of gold. Yeah. Somebody says. Many Troy ounces, they say. Troy ounces. Was that British? It makes me think of Troy. The land of Troy probably goes way back to then when they actually did the measurement and they created this 27.5 pound thing. Like, is that where pounds came? Like, it just begs many questions because Troy goes way back, right? Anyway, I have issues. My brain is constantly doing things that it shouldn't. Friedrich Merz. He's likely to become the next German chancellor. Well, he's looking very much like he's going to be. He's the conservative guy. It's not the AfD group that Musk was talking about. They, in fact, did not win. They doubled in size. They made a huge impact, which is good because it's going to be needed for Europe to finally get over this hump. Europe is climbing. In ascension, it's like a good way to look at it, I guess, because everybody's moving from the left. So the guy that won, he is the, quote, conservative party. But conservative party in Europe and England, and I've had a few people confirm this with me. I'm not totally talking out my ass here. But the Conservative Party, when they use that word specifically, is still pretty left-leaning. Still, like a lot of left-leaning. The usually what they call the party that would kind of more assimilate with the Republicanish right center, if you will. But they usually call them the extreme right or the radical right or what's the Nazi equivalent of that? Whatever. They always try to give it that sort of negative spin. That's actually our group. Now, I think AfD essentially is that group for Germany, essentially. And they doubled in power, which is huge. But the left center is still kind of running the show. And this is, again, the deep state's attempt to be like, all right, maybe we just need to steer Germany a little further. But Germany's big problem in Europe is Europe's going broke. All the small countries, they needed England, first off. They needed England's money. When England Brexited, that was a big, big, big deal because that took away a huge portion of the money. And then it just instantly fell on to France and Germany. Because there's probably maybe one other. I don't know if Spain, I don't know. France and Germany are the monetary powerhouses of Europe. And they can't afford this. And this is where a lot of these problems are happening, why Macron is here. So a lot of things are happening in the world. We are kind of ahead of that move. And again, we have the keys to unlock the code, but we need to further unlock ourselves, which I think we're getting. And the world's watching. We are living through it right now, folks. This is the glorious time. It's not the golden age yet. The golden age comes after all this. This is just the cool part that I think most of us are like, oh, when do we get to see the hangings? I don't want to see that personally, but you know, that's the example. A lot of people that are like, when they go to Gitmo and they're like, whew, I hope they don't televise that personally, by the way. I hope they don't. Because I hope we don't, that'd just be so bad for humanity to be watching the killings of people. Hopefully, before or after or something of some people. I'm there with that, like a nice picture, maybe of Hillary with a, rope around her neck or in the chair. Or I don't know what she chooses, with something covering her eyes. And I don't need to see, I don't need to see after that. You just tell me it happened. I don't, German Chancellor and the leader of the Social Democratic Party, Olaf Scholz, he took responsibility for his party's poor election. Good on you. He fell on the sword because, you suck. Nobody likes you. He goes, it's a bitter election result for the SPD. That was the super left, radical left, if you will. That's what we'd call them, essentially. He lost. See, the world's populations are conservatizing, and there's strength in numbers. And because of what we've done, though, I got to give some credit to Russia. I think Russia's done a lot. And I think any Russian people that are out there are like, thank you, Dan. And you're welcome, because you guys did. You guys really, to a large extent, were one of the first people to ever kick the deep state out. They were. And they have been the evil scourge of the planet since. It's just sad. Good people. Known plenty of Russian people. Yeah, they don't believe stuff exactly how we do, but they're cool as hell. They can drink like mofos. Good times. And the cold does not seem to bother them. They handle it much better than most of us. Unless you're in like Minnesota, because then you live on the North Pole. Looks like the Conservative Party, this is Trump posting this, looks like the Conservative Party in Germany has won very big and highly anticipated election. So he's calling out the fact that our bro did, in fact, win. So that's cool. Germany's new Chancellor, Merz, suddenly changes course. Now, they were talking about border closures. They were talking about, and this again, they're just not quite to the right party yet. The whole population's shifting. The pendulum's moving rather quickly right now. But they've now changed course. This guy, Merz, all of a sudden, and I'd play it, but it's in German, and the way they translate it at least, none of us are talking about border closures to curb illegal migration. No. He said before the election, the former BlackRock executive Merz and his conservative CDU party promised far-reaching border controls to curb the illegal immigration. But here he actually says, we're not going to do it. They changed. They took it away. So this is another BlackRock guy in Germany that just pissed off all the people that voted for him. Oops, I didn't need that. Yeah, this is how people are waking up. Zelensky was apparently furious. He was talking to the Treasury dude. What's his name? Scott Bessent. The way the story's told, it's Daily Mail. They really dramatized it up a wee bit. But they said that Bessent was nervous that this little gay high heel wearing sweatshirt doubting individual was talking loudly and scared him. I kind of doubt that, but again, they're trying to make the United States look weak. But if he acted up in any way, shape, or form, then Trump's going to be pretty pissed about what's going on, right? And this is, they're trying to get this agreement with the mineral rights or whatever. And like I said, I think there's other things in there, but it's ultimately, we want payment for the money we've given you already, and we're sure as hell not giving you any more money unless you give us any sort of, we want something in return. We are no longer going to just grant money to you like you think. Now, this discussion that's a minute long he doesn't yell or anything. Doesn't even raise his voice. So I don't know what they're referring to exactly. We'll see. We'll see what plays out. But Xi is backing up Putin. Basically, China and Russia are like, we support what he's doing. We support Russia. So they're going into this. They got to vote. The Security Council and UN or whatever, they got to vote. China is actually the president right now. And China is showing its support for Russia, which we've basically created with Biden and all the crazy crap they've done. And yeah, just the way the world's played out. But it's going to improve in the proper way. I think it ties into the multipolar world. I don't think there's any accidents. I think things have split up the way they have for good reason. And I think it's all a part of this new humanity that we're planning on being a part of. And I think Trump knows this. I actually do. He's got to play his role. We've all got to act tough to everybody that's paying attention. She does it all the time with us, right? We do it with them. Russia does it with us. Ultimately, it's just looking tough to everybody, but ultimately they're doing handshakes in the background going, yeah, totally, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to agree to. And so we're going through that. But she is publicly telling Russia, we got your back. He's also talking about this no limits partnership. Like, no limit, sky's the limit. It's basically what I interpret that to be. Sky's the limit. China's like, we are going to go high places. Yeah. And Russia's like, I like that. We go to the moon or further. U.S. pressure Ukraine to nix its UN resolution. So there's two resolutions going on. One was created by Europe. And I think, I don't know, we might have been a part of it. I think Trump probably withdrew us from it. But there's this other separate resolution that's demanding Russia completely remove itself, any territory it took, yada, yada, yada. And it's got a lot of different crap in it that Trump's like, yeah, I want you guys to remove yours. Ukraine, I want you to withdraw from it. One of the two. I don't care which. Preferably you just get the hell out of it. And essentially we'll talk. I think that's part of it because he's now offered his own version of this. The United States is lobbying countries around the world, too, to oppose the resolution brought forward by the UN General Assembly by Ukraine and the European countries. Trump is basically saying, look, I'm putting an end to this war. I'm going to do it way better than what you guys are talking about right now, because what you guys are talking about right now, the war is never going to end. Russia is not giving back that territory. This is what this all comes down to. Russia is not giving back that territory. Period. There you go. End of story. Trump knows that. And Trump is essentially trying to make deals with Ukraine. Look, we're going to help you rebuild, but you're going to give us some mineral rights for this work that we're going to do. Because he's going to invest in there. They're going to rebuild. But, of course, Zelensky, he wants in a different way. He wants cash coming straight to him. He doesn't want it showing up like that, right? He doesn't want it to cost anything. They want that free money train that's done. Donald Trump, truth this. Today, President Emmanuel Macron of France joined me in the Oval Office to speak at the G7 summit. The meeting was convened by Governor Justin Trudeau of Canada, the current chair of G7, to acknowledge the third anniversary of the Russia-Ukraine war, which would have never started if I was president. Everyone expressed their goal of seeing the war end, and I emphasized the importance of the vital, critical minerals and rare earth deal between the United States and Ukraine, which we hope will be signed very soon. This deal, which is an economic partnership, will ensure the American people recoup the tens of billions of dollars in military equipment sent to Ukraine, while also helping Ukraine's economy grow as this brutal and savage war comes to an end. At the same time, I am in serious discussions with President Vladimir Putin of Russia concerning the ending of the war and also major economic development transactions which will take place between the United States and Russia. Talks are proceeding very well. The UN must act to bring peace in Europe. This was state.gov put this out. This is Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, making this a political, public-facing statement. He says, President Trump is committed to ending the Russia-Ukraine war and to a resolution that leads to a lasting peace, not just a temporary pause. This Monday, February 24th, will mark 3 years of the Russia-Ukraine war. This war has now dragged on for far too long and at far too terrible a cost to Ukraine and Russia. The United States has proposed a simple historic resolution in the United Nations that we urge all member states to support in order to chart a path to peace. This resolution is consistent with President Trump's view that the UN must return to its founding purpose, as enshrined in the UN Charter, to maintain international peace and security, including through the peaceful settlement of disputes. If the United Nations is truly committed to its original purpose, we must acknowledge that while challenges may arise, the goal of lasting peace remains achievable. Through support of this resolution, we affirm that this conflict is awful, that the UN can help end it, and that peace is possible. We strongly believe that this is the moment to commit to ending the war. This is our opportunity to build real momentum towards peace. We urge all UN member states to join the United States in this solemn pursuit. I'm betting we're going to get a bunch of votes. It should be anyways. Anne Arundel County has been hit by a cyber incident. I don't know if this is done yet, but whatever. They said 911 and 311 were still remaining online, but they were having issues with some of their public services, some cyber incident. My guess is someone got phished, and they might have gotten somebody got into the system and then did one of those things where they ransom you, ransomware basically. So not sure what's happening there, but they are dealing with it. Sounds like it's going to take longer than a day. So we'll see what we find out, if we hear anything at all down the road. Colombia hires Mike Pompeo, Trump's former Secretary of State, to teach diplomacy. Just thought I'd bring it up. Kind of don't care that much, but yeah. Bomb threat has been sent to anti-Trump summit from a fake account claiming to be Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio. They're just trying to bury this poor guy. Some people really hate Enrique, so this dude's obviously a patriot. Obviously a patriot. So, yeah, he's, I think he got arrested just recently over the weekend, anyways, for a lady that got in his face and he smacked her phone away. And anyway, I'm sure he'll get out soon enough, and he's probably made a crap ton of money in the process. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are claiming he did this. Jim Acosta posted this. Here's a bomb threat at the principal's first summit in D.C. I'm told by sources familiar with the situation, this is the threat below. So Jim Acosta pushed this forward. And to my understanding, this group is not real friendly. So attention attendees of the principal's first summit. We have received credible bomb threat from an account claiming to be Enrique T. in honor to honor the J6 hostages. Yesterday, the recently pardoned leader of the Proud Boys, who was sentenced to 22 years in prison for seditious conspiracy and the attack of January 6, came to the summit and harassed the J6 police who were speaking. Hotel security, private security, and MPD have made the decision to evacuate summit floor so that the area can be secured. They intend to reconvene. Police officers secured the area, keeping us safe, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. I thought they told us something cool down here. Goes beyond slander, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Tarrio added that Principals First had initially presented the email as coming from him rather than from an account claiming to be him. So, yeah, this is where he's actually suing them now because they made claims. Like, it's an account claiming to be him, but it wasn't his account, his name, anything like that. So they went forward with this story anyway and made it sound like it was him, even though they've got wording in there that says, well, someone claiming to be him. But it's like, you guys are giving it a bunch of extra, like, oomph, right? And you're kind of making it sound like he's actually guilty. So he's probably got a case, but this is just they're going after him hard. And finally, Roberta Flack, singer of Killing Me Softly, has died at age 88. It took her a long time to go softly, that's for sure. But yeah, we'll miss her. Beautiful voice, beautiful song. She did some other stuff too, but I think wasn't she kind of like a jazzy sort of singer-ish, something like that? Anyway, kind of, but beautiful voice, and did some good songs. Got a lot is happening. It's happening quickly. So I hope you guys are moving along and enjoying the rides. Just, hop on the board, ride the wave with me, because it's been a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll continue to move forward. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.